So Arabelle, how you've also been a dom?
I did a little bit of sessioning like that.
Yeah.
But mostly make like dom content. But
Okay. How long you been making dom content?
Making dom content at least like 9 years.
Okay.
Something like
Amazing.
that. Yeah. And I've been doing porn for 13.
Yeah.
Yeah. You?
I've been pro dom for almost 10 years, lifestyle dom for 15 years. Yeah. So mostly in real life, I am the one who's new to being filmed while doing these things.
It's different, right?
Yeah, because especially when you're just like talking to the camera and you don't have the person's reaction, so you have to imagine what their reaction
Right, you
will
have
be.
that energy.
Yeah, there's no back and forth, unless there's somebody else in the scene. But yeah.
Yeah, no, it is very different. I feel that way even with like VR.
Ooh.
Even, have you ever done any VR stuff?
No.
It's similar, and you have a person, but usually like the other there's like one person that's kind of in charge, and then the other person kind of like can't respond. The camera's in their face.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
It's like a POV.
It's a POV. Usually, it's more
I
POV
see.
focused. Not all.
I watched one. I'm not like I don't watch that much porn.
Me neither.
but somebody showed me VR porn, and I was, and so I'm like lifestyle dom, as in like I've only been with subs since I was 19, so and there's this guy, the male porn star, the model, who's like climbing on top of me, and I was like, get this off of me.
I love that. So you're 19. That's awesome. You knew you were like early.
Yeah, I mean, I lost my virginity when I was 16, and then, and then my first, same-sex relationship was when I was 17. My first open relationship was when I was 18, and then my first femdom relationship was when I was 19. So it's just like every year, like
one up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a switch.
Yeah.
More top leaning, but I also realized that I just like don't love subbing to men.
Yeah.
So I'm like, that's like going on that's like the outside world. Why would I want this? I'm like, that's like not consensually put on me anyway. So in the world. And there are exceptions.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I think I figured no.
I've had quite a few sub girls who are quite just like straight in their like day-to-day life and their relationships, but they would come to me to serve me because they, for DS, they want to serve a woman, to sub to a woman. So that's not that unusual.
No, I don't think so. I'm not straight at all. No. I think I had my first.
Yeah.
I figured out. I think I was bisexual.
Yeah.
13, like really young.
Yeah. Oh, tell me I love the details.
So like I think experimentation. Always with like other girls, and that I think that was like
kissing,
and obviously like first orgasm.
Ooh.
Yeah, the first people I had sex with were other women.
Okay.
And I never, and I think that's a lot of even straight people. I think like they can, when you explore, that kind of just happens. But it never left.
I also love I have a lot of subs who are like boarding school products.
Oh,
so they've had a lot of boy on boy exploration before they ever lost their virginity to a girl,
Yeah, it makes sense, right? Like, there's no one else around. It's hot. In general, I'm very into watching men experiment with men. Yeah.
I know.
Guy on guy.
Like that's, I think, I never watched that much, like we said, but I when I did watch, it would almost always be gay porn.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because, you know why?
No, I'm curious.
There's more hot boys. Like,
they are hotter in gay porn.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like hot boys getting topped, it does not exist as much. And nowadays you have a few, some like some hot boys.
It's
who
hard to
are,
find.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I just I very
know.
much feel that way. For a long time, my OF subscribers were like, why isn't there a lot of it's usually your femdom stuff is by yourself. Why? And I'm just like, I just want to find a sub that I'm attracted to, that I want to top, which I'm slowly finding them here.
Over the years, you accumulate here and there.
Yeah. But yeah.
I think that's what it is. It's just like finding, subby guys who are hot.
Yeah. So I only jerk off to cartoons. I don't want human beings.
Like Japanese style, or
like mostly Japanese or 3D werewolves, hot elves.
Yeah.
Yes.
Nice.
Basically, as far away from reality as humanly possible. That's hot.
I grew up in Japan.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. So my first encounter was so in Japan. When I was growing up, you could find the mangas that mangas in any store magazine rack. So it wasn't kept behind the counter or anything. So you couldn't be, my mom will be grocery shopping and I'll be flipping through, the magazine racks. And the very first porn I saw was, it was femdom shower.
Look at you now.
I was probably 6, 7 years old. And I was just waiting for my mom to finish shopping, flipping through. Obviously knew it was naughty, trying to hide in the corner. And I just remembered her hovering over and every pubic hair was drawn in, and just all over the sky. I was like, this is amazing. What is happening? And then I heard my mom call my name and just stuffing it back into the show.
I'm not doing anything.
Yeah. So that was my first. Yeah.
Oh, it's awesome.
That was my first encounter, I think.
I'm trying
with explicit material.
You know what? I think cartoons for me too. So was weird. My mom's thesis, which is a sociology degree, and it was on women feeding animals. Because that's what, my mom is a special lady. Yes, that's what she did.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and so in her thesis, she had a bunch of research and all that stuff. But there was this photo of this woman breastfeeding. It was a cartoon.
Yeah.
Eating snakes that were attached to her nipples.
Oh,
and I remember that just
amazing.
Oh yeah, it's imprinted on my psyche.
That's such a powerful image. So serpents with tits.
Yeah, just hanging. And I'm this is why I have 5, 6 snakes tattooed to my body. I'm oh, this just imprint on my psyche.
Wow. Now I'm thinking of photo shoot ideas snakes with tits. I don't know. That's hot.
It's so hot.
That's cool. So that was your first. How old were you?
I was young. I was probably 6 or something. Something like that. I was young. Because I'm just messing around in my parents' stuff and all that. Oh. So you grew up in Japan.
Yeah.
Did you get to see all those I don't know if that's still a thing, the vending machines?
I mean,
is that a thing?
Vending machines are everywhere.
Yeah.
Did I ever encounter use underwear vending machines?
Yeah, or porn or anything. Is that not really a thing?
There might be in big cities, but I grew up in countryside.
Okay.
But there was still a lot of vending machines. I remember there were vending machines for sake and cigarettes and stuff. So any kid could buy it, but
not with porn.
Yeah, you could buy canned soup. I think you would have to go to like a red light-ish district, like, you know, more kind of that kind of neighborhood to get a vending machine that has stuff like that. Or like a love hotel. There's a lot of love hotels in Japan.
Please.
Love hotels are hotels you can pay by the hour, and it's meant for like because Japanese houses are, you know, like it's not somewhere you can. There's not much space. People can't bring people back to their homes as much, so there's like a lot of space like that where if you want to hook up, you
That's it.
go to a love hotel.
Less privacy.
Yeah, less privacy. So yeah, you will have vending machine with all kinds of lube in there. You sometimes there's coin operated Hitachi in the room. Like you can order room service. You probably won't interact with somebody though. It's like the food will come without a human interaction. It's very interesting. And a lot of places will have themes. So some will look like a castle or like an old palace, or there was one Bali theme.
That sounds really fun.
It's really fun. It's really, really fun. Yeah, absolutely.
Do you go back a lot?
I haven't gone back in a few years because of COVID, but I probably will be back this September.
Yeah. When we were talking before, I haven't been back to where I was born either.
Yeah.
And I'm going back in the summer. It's nice to go back. I've always wanted to go to Japan. I've not.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It has its amazing pervy culture.
Oh, huge.
Yeah.
Huge.
I went, when I was 21, I decided to explore the kink scene in Japan, in Tokyo. So, and it's very huge, but it's very underground, and I had a really hard time finding, you know, even being fluent in Japanese. So I found this one S&M bar that I was able to find on the internet. It was this tiny little shoebox bar. And I went there, and they were like dom girls who were hostesses and, you know, serving you alcohol, and like some girls too. And, you know, you just like a few people you talk. But that's where I got all the intel for like, oh, you should go to this event, this party. And so I went to this huge fetish party. And I was 21. I was wearing this tiny little leather bikini. And there was this guy who was following me around the whole night. And he was like bottomless. And he was trying to sneak photos of my ass, like following me. But it was really funny. He was
too silly to feel threatening.
He had the tiniest I have ever seen to this day. It was literally the size of my thumb in thickness.
Did it go in? Have you ever seen an innie?
Yes, I've seen.
Yeah.
But so that's somebody who has to have a little more extra.
You need a little extra for that.
Yeah,
that
like
makes sense.
Weight that they kind of like pops in. But no, he was very skinny, but it was this was the exact size. And then so when I was about to leave, he like actually came into the elevator with me, and I was like, oh shit, you know.
Yeah.
And when I was about to leave the building, this was like 6 a.m., right? At the end of the event. And I was about to leave, and he's like, can I hand off, please? In like broken English. I speak fluent Japanese, by the way, but I don't look fully Japanese, so he's trying to speak in broken English. It's like, hand job, 10,000 yen.
What is that in dollars? I'm just curious.
It's like $1,000, you know? And I'm like, I was like, this is like 6 a.m., middle of Tokyo, where are we going, you know?
Yeah.
I was just like, no. And he's like, okay, just watch, 10,000 yen, just watch. It's like, okay, fine. $1,000 to just watch.
Yeah.
Watch you fiddle your little cock. Okay, fine. So I started following him. Like, where are we going? And he's like, we're going to a park.
Oh my God.
But at this point, I like, as he was trying to lead me down an alley, I just like turned around and like booked it to the
You're
station.
like, not going down an alley with you.
Yeah. So that was my little adventure, 21-year-old adventure.
Oh my God. That's around, I think it was like 19 when I was like exposed to kink stuff. And then I grew up mostly in like San Francisco, which had a very vibrant kink scene. It's kind of dead.
Yeah.
Like it's not the same place. that it
Yeah,
used
for
to
sure.
be now. Right.
For sure.
But, you know, and I remember getting like exposed to everything. I mean, like the first kink stuff I did was like definitely on camera. So I was learning what I was into as I was like also like learning to perform and stuff. Which
That's
is really interesting.
that's always been fascinating to me because I think, you know, most of my colleagues, even like real life pro doms, for a lot of them, their first encounter with kink is becoming a dom and like working in a dungeon and learning, like them being taught how to be a dom. And I was a lifestyle dom for 6 years before, so I didn't realize how rare that was, that, you know, I just like discovered it on my own and then became a pro.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
I like, you know, I had certain things when I was a teen, but I wasn't really aware of what I was doing. So
Sure.
like, you know, 16 years old, tying up my boyfriend and like edging him and then like whatever. But like it didn't like occur to me to what I was doing until much later.
Right. I think for me it was growing up in Japan that I was exposed to like kink a lot more and the, you know, terminology and everything. And so when I was 19, when I started seeing this boy who was just naturally more subby, he was also Japanese, and neither of us had any experience, but immediately we fell into this kind of power dynamic, and we were both like, oh, we're doing S&M, so I guess that's what we're doing now, you know, like, so we instantly knew what it was, you know. But I think for a lot of people, they'll just explore the things that they have this, like, they're drawn to without knowing what it is for a long time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No, there's quite a bit of stuff. Like I don't ask you this question. So like I didn't know like how like hot I thought cucking and like findom was.
Yeah.
And then I started doing it. And it was through work. And then I was like, oh, this is so hot. Like this legitimately like really turns me on. And I was gonna ask you, what kink is so there's so much under the umbrella. What are some of your favorite things?
I mean, for me, I've had quite a journey through it, right?
Yeah.
So when earlier on, like, I think still this is kind of at the core of my turn on is desperation. So expression of desperation, whether it's tie and tease, like chastity, masturbation restriction, edging, all of that is like at the core of it and is what kind of got me into it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, whatever that, you could just see the pleading and the whimpering and all of that juicy expression. It's like, so whatever that I can use to get them there is what I like. So if somebody has a foot fetish, if somebody has other fetishes, like not to perform that for them, but use that as like a way to get that desperation out of them. But yeah, over the last, 15 years doing this, I've definitely gone much more into the power play and the, total power exchange, really breaking people's egos, so that I really love that, like, people who are very arrogant or cocky or have a lot of masculinity baggage.
Ego death is very important.
We're doing good for the world. Absolutely. So like really finding a way to like, verbally break that, and just seeing them like completely accept it and surrender to my power is like what I have enjoyed more, and just a lot more subbing, so incorporating people in my life who serve me, you know, taking care of my needs, all of that.
I love that. I find that very few people are actually submissives. They're fetishists.
Oh yeah.
And I don't care for that as much. I mean, it has its place, but I don't think you call yourself a sub. When, do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. So there are people. I think there's a lot of subs who are into the fantasy of it rather than actually desiring to like serve the sub's needs. I mean Dom's needs in a way that even if they're fantasizing about, oh, I want to do this for my Dom, it's there like I want to be, you know, being used by her while she wears latex and wielding a whip, which might not be what the Dom wants in that moment, right?
Totally,
So whether in that moment the Dom can be like, yeah, I just want to chill on the couch while you wash the dishes, and if the sub will happily do that because they genuinely want their Dom to be happy, or they're gonna pout and moan and be like, well, I don't know, maybe you can get me in the mood for it, but like, you know, maybe you can boss me around. It's like, oh, so you want me to work?
Yeah, no, totally. It's something that I've like slowly, you know, I found myself in. I was like, oh, I'm like performing a service, and I'm like, I no longer want to engage in kink in that way.
Yeah,
and it's been like a journey for me of like kind of separating that.
Absolutely.
And I find it so, I mean, I enjoy it so much more because it's
Absolutely. And so I like check my subs from the beginning, like right away. I'm like, you know, I'm not gonna do things to cater to you, and so I will. Like sometimes I might have like a full session and if I can tell that they're waiting for me to do certain things for me, I'm happy to waste their time.
I love it.
Like if I want to see true surrender, and if you can't get there, I'm happy to waste your time.
I love that. You have to hear it. Yeah.
Well, it's really great to get to know your Dom side. It's fun.
No, it's not.
Your little development of how you came to all of this.
Oh, no, it's same here. I love speaking to other people and how they found their way and,
absolutely,
you know, what they love about kink and
the juicy stories.
yeah.